Looking at a successful break by the Belgian Rudy Matisse and the Dane Kim Anderson. Your commentator is Phil Leggett.
Well, these are the two leaders now back once more on the bad road, the Pavé, the hell of the north. And how these cobblestones always play a part in the major races in this part of the world. Anderson, clearly a tired man. Rudy Matisse behind him. I think he's not as tired. I think he's actually not prepared to work quite as hard as Anderson, because of course he hasn't as much to gain. He knows Anderson must make the pace. He knows Anderson wants to take that yellow jersey at the end of the day. So why should he work when, if he doesn't work too hard, he could win the stage? Kim Anderson, everything to gain here by losing the stage, which is the ironic situation in the Tour de France. Everybody has other reasons for doing other things. And there's the lone figure now of Jean-René Bernadeau, 2 minutes 6 seconds behind the two leaders. And this is really quite an escape, because Bernadeau, normally expected to wait for the mountains and take on the riders, has decided to see if there's any seconds on offer now on this stage across northern France, and at the moment at least he's picking up time on the majority of the stars, because although Kim Anderson is in front, he's not really considered to be a rider who could win this year's Tour de France. Bernadeau most certainly is. And I think the way that this Tour de France has begun, the result is going to be decided on which rider takes most gamble in life. And Bernadeau now trying to test the opposition and see if he can just sneak a few seconds. Another man that's chosen to ride these cobbles. You can see the potholes, they're dodging all the time. That was the point for those of you who watch World of Sport when we did Paris-Roubaix earlier this year, where in fact Henny Kuiper very nearly came to grief and had to change his bike before he went on to victory. And now Bernadeau too seem to have a little bit of a problem on that same bend. Good steady riding now by Bernadeau. He's trying to make good his gauge. He's only about 15 seconds at the most ahead of the main field. The main field down to something like 60 riders, no more certainly. And behind the main field, one or two top names, like Bert Oosterbosch of Holland, who was challenging for the lead in these early days. Michelin of France, who was 8th overall this morning, he crashed. And also Grespe of Spain, who was expected to challenge for the yellow jersey when we finally got to the mountains, get to the mountains. And there we can see Kim Anderson now looking at the route to see exactly where he is and how far to go. Because, of course, the riders, never having ridden these stages of the Tour de France, perhaps never before, they have to carry with them in their back pocket, usually protected by a piece of plastic, the profile of the day's racing. And Anderson, I feel, is feeling the pace, and he was having a little glance there to see exactly where he was, or where he is. And now on his right shoulders come the blackboard telling him the time gap he has. And maybe a chance here we'll pick it up. But if not, he's getting a time gap of about 2 minutes plus on Jean-René Bernadeau, and a little bit further back to the main chasers. Oh, look at that for effort now. More the style of a man riding a 5,000 meters pursuit, putting his head down, almost touching the handlebars. Upright style there of Matisse. Still the board is giving a time gap. And there we can see it. 2 minutes and 2 seconds the gap. 2 minutes and 2 seconds the gap. That'll be, of course, to Jean-René Bernadeau, not to the main field. Bernadeau leading the main field by about 15 to 20 seconds. And here is Roubaix, French town, which is almost Belgian. It's just on the border, some 3 miles away from the Belgian border. And here we are now in the streets of Roubaix. Kim Anderson and Rudy Matisse of Belgium. And Anderson surely knows now he's going to finish this stage in yellow. Wearing number 2 at the front, setting all the pace. Matisse, who's lying way back in 79th position overall this morning. But that was only 3.5 minutes behind the leader, Jean-Louis Gaultier of France, a teammate of Anderson. Gaultier won't be too unhappy at seeing his lead switch to yet another of the Co-op Mercier team, because he's had his day, and now it seems to be the day of Kim Anderson. I very nearly said Phil Anderson, the Australian. Well, Phil Anderson, of course, back in the leading group, thinking perhaps of a day in Paris some 3 weeks ahead when he would like to win the final yellow jersey. Kim Anderson here now coming under the red kite. 1 kilometre to go to what must surely be his first ever yellow jersey in the Tour de France. 1,000 metres, that's to where the time is taken at the entrance to the velodrome at Roubaix, not to the finishing line, because when the riders come into the velodrome, they will of course have 1.5 laps to go. And it'll be interesting to see whether Kim Anderson allows the Belgian rider to take the stage and be content with his yellow jersey, or whether he'll try for the win too. Into the stadium now. There's a little greenhouse on the gate, so the time is over. An enormous cheer goes up here. There's no need to worry about whether a Frenchman's going to win, so the French are cheering the leader on the track. From Denmark, Kim Anderson, and Matisse in second place. And you see the Belgian now still not concerned about coming by. 1 lap to go when they come through. I'm sure he'll change his mind then. Well, you can see the clock counting on the screen. That's a mistake by the French television, unless it is in fact running on the gate, because that is where the time is taken. The average speed, 25 miles an hour today over the cobbles. Well, that really is a fabulous ride in this hot weather. Anderson coming round now, and there comes the expected attack now. Anderson still trying, but look at the gap opening. The Belgians waited for this, I would say, for about 6 miles. And now he's going, and he's going so well. Look at the gap open now. Anderson in yellow will have to be content with second, as the Belgian rider, Rudy Matisse, comes home. His first Tour de France, his first stage victory. And in second place, not even away from Kim Anderson there, but he's certainly in yellow, no doubt about that.
So victory then in stage 3 for the 24-year-old Belgian, Rudy Matisse. But it was Kim Anderson's second place that's significant, because it made him the first Danish rider to lead the Tour overall, more than 2 minutes ahead of 42 riders. Well, gradually during the week, that lead has been eroded. It was down to 42 seconds after the 6th stage from Chateaubriand to Nantes. Sniffing at Kim Anderson's heels were the Australian Phil Anderson and Ireland's Sean Kelly, 57 seconds behind the leader and 3rd overall. Well, stage 7 was another long stage, 211 kilometres, that's 131 miles, from Nantes along the Atlantic coast to the Ile d'Oléron, an island just off the west coast. To reach the island, the riders cross a bridge. 5 riders made a break away from the pack, but they were soon caught on the other side.
Well, the pressure really going on now, and the rider doing all the pressurising is Ludo de Culinaire, one of the new riders in the TI Rally team. And TI Rally, after having a very unfortunate start to the Tour when they lost Jan Ross, their famous Dutch sprinter, with a serious crash on the road to Roubaix. They're now coming back a little bit, because they won a stage yesterday, the time trial stage with Bert Osterbosch. And now the action coming from the bunch. The rider in second place here is Eric van der Arden of Belgium, the young 21-year-old, the youngest man in the race, who's caused Sean Kelly so much problems in these early days. And although he's wearing the green jersey at the moment, unless he beats Kelly in the sprint today, he's lost it, because Kelly now leads him by 2 points in that competition, thanks to the opening sprint of the day, some 9 miles after the stage start, when Kelly won a time bonus and 8 very valuable points towards that green jersey. So Kelly has come ahead now, 2 points clear in that competition. He started the day 6 points behind Van der Arden, the Belgian. And I'm quite sure Van der Arden is well aware that he has to beat Sean Kelly in the sprint today to conserve his lead in that competition. Well, this is still Jan van Heuvelinge, the rider who is in front. And the pack going down both sides of the carriageway there. absolutely nothing in it. The counter-attacks, I think, are going to pick this rider up, but he's trying so hard now to just stay away. In fact, this is Roger de Knijff of Belgium now, who's replaced his teammate at the front, Jan van Heuvelinge. So the Belgian team Bulldor trying desperately now to finish off this stage with a victory. Van Heuvelinge has been caught, and Roger de Knijff is trying for the victory on the day. This, of course, will not alter the overall positions. Kim Andersen of Denmark, wearing yellow, still in that main field. What a good leader he's proving to be. A rider who, when he was a junior, showed no real ability as a cyclist and went to a leading journalist and said, "You don't know me, but I want to ride the Tour de France." The journalist laughed and said, "First of all, you should learn to ride your bicycle well." And now, just a few years later, he is leading the Tour de France and has done so for 4 days. Well, Knijff having to throw all caution to the wind now and hope he can hang on. He's going to have to turn out a speed of something like 35 miles an hour to hold that pack off. And all the time, the riders are attacking at the front of that bunch. It looks once more as though a teammate of Sean Kelly is coming clear. Well, these opportunist attacks do work. We've seen it so often happen over the closing few kilometres of a stage in the Tour de France. But this one really is about to end. Roger de Knijff, I think, would do better here to take a couple of deep breaths and wait for the whole field. And the whole field is in this group today. Just over 130 riders going across the Ile d'Oléron. There they all are. And you can see the riders squeezing through as well, trying to get to the front of the pack. Phil Anderson has come to the front now. I think that's Anderson in the white jersey now. He's got a very characteristic style when he sprints. And look at him go through now. Anderson has attacked earlier on today, testing the strength of the main field. But although he's finished the attack of Roger de Knijff, he comes under the banner here, 1 kilometre to go. He's got a gap. 600 yards from the finish. Anderson looks over his shoulder. And the whole field fanning out now. Surely this could be a win for Kelly if he can find his way through this pack. Anderson will do well now to stay at the front of this main field. You can see the green jersey about 7 from the front of Van der Aard. And remember, he must beat Sean Kelly in this sprint finish to conserve his lead in that green jersey, because Kelly has done enough today to take it from him, providing he beats him finally in the finish here. And this is another rider, one of the Italian team, breaking away. And I'm wondering if Fritz Pirard is trying to do what he did at Créteil just a week ago when he won the stage there. The whole field now in full flight, the gaps appearing between the wheels. And the one rider going clear from the Italian team, and he's going to stay away possibly by the line. It could be Fritz Pirard again. He's got the same colours on. Van der Aarden on the left, and Kelly too trying to come through. Kelly behind Van der Aarden, and as they hit the line, that's the win there without a shadow of a doubt for Riccardo Magrini, the first Italian victory of the day. But whether Kelly keeps his lead in that green jersey will have to go to the computer, because I think he finished just behind. Here we can see Magrini well clear at the line. The green jersey of Van der Aarden, he saved this sprint all day. That's Kelly, I think, tucked in behind him in the orange top. So Van der Aarden gets second place. And I think Kelly third, fourth, maybe fifth. And if so, he won't have got that green jersey after all. Well, there's the man who's really setting this Tour de France alight in the yellow jersey, Kim Andersen of Denmark. All smiles again. He really did not expect to be the leader this long. Congratulations all round to Andersen. And I think he'll lead now all the way to the mountains in the Pyrenees.
There's the confirmation. Victory for Riccardo Magrini of Italy in stage 7, ahead of Van der Aarden of Belgium and Glaus of Switzerland. Ireland Sean Kelly was 5th. But Kim Andersen of Denmark still leads overall, now 38 seconds ahead of Phil Anderson of Australia and 45 seconds in front of Sean Kelly in 3rd place. And at 3:40 this afternoon, we shall have coverage of the finish of stage 8 of the Tour, the 219 kilometres from La Rochelle to the historic city of Bordeaux. Right, athletics now, and 2 world sprint records in the American National Sport Festival held in the rarefied atmosphere of Colorado.
Teammate in the Suzuki GB squad just ahead of him. Gardner, Marshall, Lewis, McKelney and Hewen. That's the first 5. 5:15 laps gone, 3 laps to go. And really, I wouldn't like to put my money on any of these. Keith Hewen, who started the year so well with a victory in this the opening round of the World of Sport Trophy, then went on to the French Grand Prix, finishing 5th, 2 places ahead of Barry Sheene. Gardner, Marshall, Lewis, McKelney and Hewen. A large blanket could cover them, and they will be coming around. And in fact, Rob McKelney goes straight down the slip road. Rob McKelney goes shooting down the slip road. So now it's down to 4 men. Rob McKelney whistling straight up the slip road. I would imagine it's perfectly okay, but decided he just didn't want to dive through into that chicane. And there's Rob McKelney coming into the pits because his chance has gone and he'll be very disappointed. There's the leader. Wayne Gardner in the lead. Roger Marshall in 2nd place. And it looks as though it's suddenly turned into a 2-horse race. Gardner, the race leader. Roger Marshall in 2nd place. And it looks to me as though it's Keith Hewen who is in 3rd spot, which raises the question, what's happened to Paul Lewis? There's Gardner, there's Marshall. Well, Rob McKelney we saw disappear up the slip road. That is Gardner, that is Marshall, 1st and 2nd place. Gardner not in 100% physical condition, and it is Keith Hewen in 3rd place, a long way behind, and we lost Paul Lewis somewhere on that lap. Well, that's bad luck indeed for the young Australian. That's Keith Hewen goes through. There's Bob Smith and Mark Sal, and the leaders now on their last lap. We're on the last lap now. And again, a tail ender makes life difficult for Roger Marshall. Wayne Gardner going through on the inside. And let's hope that that man has not spoilt Roger Marshall's. There's Paul Lewis coming in. Well, he'll be very disappointed. A big wave to the fans. They will have shown their appreciation for a very fine performance. Tragedy striking on the penultimate lap. This, though, is the last lap, and this is the race leader. And Wayne Gardner has opened up a comfortable margin over his teammate, Roger Marshall. The Honda just bobbing and weaving. Gardner in the lead. Wayne Gardner through Coppice for the last time underneath the Dunlop Bridge, and Keith Hewen is now chasing Roger Marshall. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Can Keith Hewen? Wayne Gardner, though, goes into the chicane for the last time. There's Roger Marshall. There's Keith Hewen. So it's checkered flag time for Wayne Gardner. 2nd place for Roger Marshall. 3rd place for Keith Hewen, and Wayne Gardner is delighted, and with good reason. He was involved in that nasty-looking accident at the Dutch TT when quite accidentally he ran into Franco Ancini, and a shake of the hands from Roger Marshall. Keith Hewen is there, and in fact they almost fall off chatting to one another. Keith Hewen comes alongside to say well done, and Keith Hewen will be happy with himself because he must be well up on the points chart. So the order at the end of that lap: Wayne Gardner in the lead, 2nd place Roger Marshall, and 3rd Keith Hewen. So a victory sign from Wayne Gardner, and a chance to go down to the pits, and a word with the unlucky Paul Lewis chatting to Andrew Marriott.
Well, I've got Paul with me now. He's just taking off his crash helmet. Paul, what happened?
I was just sort of sussing the situation out. The tyres were just starting to warm up. It was fine, and just settling into a pace, and the back wheel locked up and got sideways around the turn. The calipers come off, broken, and jammed up the back wheel. So I'm pretty lucky.
But a fantastic debut. You must be happy, really.
Yeah, I'm pretty wrapped. My first race meeting here, and you know, I turn out something like that. I'm really pleased.
Where'd you go to next?
Well, we'll get the race tomorrow if we can fix the bike. We'll race the 500 race tomorrow, and then Snedden, then hopefully the British Grand Prix.
Paul, you've been the sensation of this meeting. Congratulations and bad luck.
Thanks very much.
So that's Roger Marshall, Keith Hewen and Wayne Gardner coming round, and this means that Keith Hewen and Wayne Gardner now level pegging. Well, there's a man standing up here in the commentary box, Barry Sheene. You just saw the winners come in. Anything to say on that alarming slide, and now you've recovered?
No, not really. It's the same thing happened in Assen, and it happened here the last time I rode here. I suppose it's just a matter of getting used to riding a Suzuki and getting some luck.
Yeah, well, you were lucky to stay on.
Oh, that was nothing in comparison to what happened at Assen. I tell you, can't you give me a rerun? I want to see it.
Unfortunately, we can't see a rerun at the moment. We'll try and organise that for you later. Barry, you can relive your heart-stopping moments later on, but not at the moment. So, with the news that Wayne Gardner wins from Roger Marshall and Keith Hewen, it's time to go back to the studio and Fred Dineage.
So another unlucky race for Barry Sheene, but a good victory for Wayne Gardner, the Australian based in Britain, ahead of Roger Marshall, who picks up 12 points there, and Keith Hewen, winner of round one, in third place. So after 2 rounds, let's have a look at the situation. Wayne Gardner leading on 25 points, Keith Hewen sharing that first place with him, also on 25, and Roger Smith in third place on 20 points. And you can see the final round of the World of Sport Superbike Challenge on September the 10th. Right, we'll take a break, then it's cycling and the finish of the 8th stage of the Tour de France. That's next on World of Sport.
Old English cider. Gamer's Old English, the original strong cider.
When a business is looking for a new home, finding one that's ideal isn't always easy. Some are too big, some too small, some are the right size, but in the wrong place. Help and advice aren't always readily available, which is why you should come to the Scottish Development Agency. Last year alone, we helped over 300 businesses find new homes, either in our own properties or in others. In many cases, we provided financial aid and technical advice as well. If your business is seeking a new home, call us on Freephone SDA. We can help you too, no matter what the shape or size of your company.
What Car magazine has voted the front-wheel drive Vauxhall Cavalier Family Car of the Year for the 2nd year running. Their reasons: power with economy.
Powerful, with 90 bhp from 1.6 litres. Good economy.
Handling.
Handling is sound.
Space.
Plenty of room inside the light, airy body.
Value.
A very sound family car package.
Test drive the Family Car of the Year. There's a choice of hatchback or saloon. The Vauxhall Cavalier. Better by design.
Only with misty shades from Crown Plus 2 do you get spring mist, one of a choice of 6 gentle colors in the subtlest of tones.
That's why you're more at home with Crown.
In match pots too.
Welcome back to cycling and the Tour de France. Remember, after the opening 7 stages, which had taken the riders from Paris to the Ile de Laurent off the west coast of France, Kim Anderson of Denmark leading overall, 38 seconds ahead of Phil Anderson of Australia and 45 seconds in front of Sean Kelly of Ireland. Well, today it's stage 8 of the Tour, 219 kilometres, 136 miles from La Rochelle to Bordeaux. With 35 kilometres to go, there was a break involving 2 Dutch riders, Bert Oosterbosch and Henny Kuiper. Now, we join the stage with the riders on a circuit of Bordeaux and approaching the finish. Those two Dutchmen still going very well indeed. Commentary now from Phil Liggett.
So the race begins to approach the finishing circuit of Bordeaux, and Kuiper setting the pace. A little adjustment there for the toe straps of Bert Osterbosch. 1.5 minutes the gap, so the main field are closing all the time. If these riders are caught by the field and Sean Kelly wins the day, then of course he will take over the lead in the Tour de France, and that would be the first time for 20 years an Irishman has ever worn the yellow jersey. Shea Elliott had the unique privilege in 1963. He lost it the very next day in a time trial. Kelly, I think, a far better rider than Shea Elliott. But at the moment, Kelly a long way from taking it, because the bunch 1.5 minutes behind. All the reaction coming largely from the teammates of Kim Andersen and the Renault Gitane team, the team that would have been for Bernard Hinault, but this year, of course, with Hinault out through a leg injury, it's a free-for-all in the team, and they're still trying to establish quite who's going to lead the Renault team through the Pyrenees and the Alps. Now we're on to the finishing circuit. The riders will come round shortly through the finishing line. And look at the face of Kuiper now. He can smell the line, but he can't quite make it yet. The same for Osterbosch. These two riders now have been in the lead for about 16 miles. For a while, their breakaway looked very, very shaky indeed. Then they suddenly escaped to 2 minutes, and now it's coming back. It's just over 1 minute now. So this race could all come together in the very last few hundred yards. We've seen it happen before in the Tour de France. It could happen this time. Both these riders very, very tired indeed. The temperature so hot. And it's not just today, of course. It's been the last week of this year's Tour de France. Osterbosch calling there for his team car. Here it comes. I think he wants constant time checks, and there's the field also in Bordeaux now, so this race could come together. And that looks like an attack by Jean-René Bernadotte now. He fell off with 10 miles to go yesterday with Britain's Graham Jones, so he lost the chance to excel on the Ile d'Oléron, where he lives. Andersen leading the bunch through there in the yellow jersey, sensing again he can still lead this race for another day. And the whole field goes round. They've been fried alive out there today. They've been stopping by the wayside, taking water, dangling their toes in streams when the pace was a lot slower. But now we're coming around towards the finishing line for the first time, remember. And these two riders are going to hang on, or are they? Osterbosch burying himself now. Kuiper anxious to get to the front and relay the pace too. Approaching the finishing line for the first time. A final drink for Bert Osterbosch, shakes the bottle just to see if there's anything left at all. And there obviously is, because he hasn't thrown it away. Just over a mile to the finish. Kuiper leads through the finishing line, followed by Bert Osterbosch. And as they go out for the circuit of the centre of the city again now, it could well be a sprint between these two riders. And Osterbosch going for his second win in this year's Tour de France. No rider's done that yet. He won the time trial stage from between Chateaubriand and Nantes. And this has been a good tactic by Rally today. After Henk Lubeding, another Rally rider, had a lead of 5 minutes and was caught. Osterbosch then attacked, and Henny Kuiper followed him. And it could well be the decision of the day. But nothing's over in the Tour de France till they cross the finishing line. Kuiper takes up the front. Look at this huge crowd. Enormous crowd again. Anything over 250,000 people on the roadside again today. Never been crowds like this in France for years to watch this event. One reason possibly that the French can't take the holidays outside Europe this year, because they can only take with them a small amount of money, so many have opted to go for a holiday within France. Jean-René Bernadotte goes through there in third place. And there's no doubt now that the finish will be fought out by those two leaders, but there's Kim Anderson bringing the race through with 1 lap to go. Sean Kelly in second place, looking over the shoulder of Anderson there, just making sure the road ahead is clear. So Kelly looking again for a good finish. He's climbed today to second place overall, just 25 seconds behind Anderson, poised to take that yellow jersey, but it's going to elude him again today because these two riders have spoiled it for him. Osterbosch in second place, Kuiper in the lead. Kuiper at the start of the day was in 17th place, over 4 minutes behind. Osterbosch was absolutely nowhere overall in the race. And this is quite a good attack for Henny Kuiper because he's going to go into the mountain having gained a few seconds over the field on a stage when he wouldn't have expected to do so. And so the riders making their final approach now. It looks as though Osterbosch on the left has it. Kuiper's, and yes, Osterbosch is well clear, looks over his shoulder. Kuiper will get second place, but Osterbosch of Holland and TI Rally gets his win. Second is Henny Kuiper. He's tried these last-minute attacks at least twice during this year's event, and they've always failed. The clock counting down the gaps there as the leaders have crossed the lines. Jean-René Bernadotte it is. He crashed with 10 miles to go yesterday. Graham Jones,
So victory then for Bert Osterbosch, and behind him in second place was the man who made the break with him, Henny Kuiper. After that, the real battle was on for the minor but vitally important places. Let's look at that battle now.
So Jean-René Bernadotte, a very, very popular French rider, bringing the race to one of its main homes. It's the most visited city on the calendar of the Tour de France. And Bernadotte's only just going to make it. The whole pack, and the whole pack are coming now. Kelly on the far right, trying for the line for fourth place, being joined now by, oh, and look at the way they're going to line. Oh, and Kelly may just have got that. He may just have got that, and I think the rider alongside him was Eric McKenzie, and so it's between Eric McKenzie and Sean Kelly on the line for fourth place.
Well, what a finish that was. Jean-Pierre Bernadotte in third place. We've had a fair amount of drama here, as you might have noticed. A complete mains breakdown sent all the lights out. I really must remember to put some money in the meter next time. Sorry about that. We're back on course now. We'll take a break, and after that, some news, some results next on World of Sport.
It's tedious being a raincoat, missing the sun, catching the rain.
Would you care for a Cadbury's double-decker?
It's astonishing.
Chewy and munchable.
Crispy and crunchable and all coated in Cadbury's milk chocolate. I could face an entire monsoon season.
Or even a week in Ochtermuchty.
Keep up your pecker with a Cadbury's double-decker.
Are you under 24? Then how about this? The Young Person's Rail Card. For 12 quid, you get half-price travel on most journeys for a year.
Under 24? How about 25?
Sorry. The Young Person's Rail Card.
Get one before it's too late.
A weekend in London with Stardust. A wide choice of hotels and prices.
Quality hotels and friendly service from Stardust.
Stardust has the very best locations.
Piccadilly, Oxford Street, Park Lane and many more.
Stardust holidays with private bathroom and full breakfast.
Discounts and offers too.
British Rail for speed and comfort.
Stardust, just the right price.
Stardust, quality and style.
Phone for a brochure or book at your travel agent or railway station.
With this rail card, senior citizens get half-price travel and, like my young friends here, can afford to go visiting, sightseeing, to London, or just into town. With a £12 senior citizen rail card, you can get half-price travel practically anywhere at any time. And it's so easy to buy. Just drop into any station or appointed travel agent and ask for details. Your rail card makes travelling a lot cheaper. For senior citizens, it's easy to see why this is the age of the train.
Well, I said, why go any further when you can pop round the corner to the local spa? I mean, look, acorn butter at only 44.5p. And spa bacon at just 59p. English cheddar cheese, too, that's only 99p a pound. Not to mention their sliced ham at 39p a quarter. So I said, with prices like these, you can really go to town without going to town.
Have you heard the local lowdown?
Visit the Great Yorkshire Show in Harrogate on July the 12th, 13th and 14th. See farming machinery, animals, flowers and lots more for everyone to enjoy next Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday.
Can you identify these stripes? They're Esso striped protectors and are 2 of the 6 pictures you have to identify in the Great Esso Superlube competition. And the prizes? How about these 4 MG Metros for a start? And there are over 1,000 home protection and safety prizes. And even if you don't win, you can't lose, because you've got new Esso Superlube, the striped protector. There's no better oil.
Dear Bird's Eye, I like potato waffles. I sometimes make them smaller, just for fun. Then I call them mini waffles. Love from Derek, age 6 3/4.
Dear Derek, so do we. Love Bird's Eye.
Buy Britain's best-selling car, Sierra 1.6L from only £4,999 on the road. Contact Peter Garvin, Gateshead.
Well, welcome back to World of Sport. We've got our lights back, we've got our power back, I'm delighted to say. But if we've had 1 or 2 problems in the last few minutes, our problem's really nowhere near as serious as Barry Sheene's might have been in the World of Sport Superbike Challenge, which I hope you were watching just a bit earlier. Happily, everything is all right. You've probably heard Barry Sheene saying to Andrew Marriott, can I see again what happened? We couldn't do it then, for obvious reasons, but we can do it now. So, Andrew Marriott and Barry Sheene.
Well, Barry hasn't seen what's happened yet. I'm standing here with Barry, surrounded by his family and Stephanie and Paul Lewis, who did such a sensational job there, Barry. We're going to see it roll in a minute. I mean, it looked a really frightening moment. When you had the race sewn up, it looked like to me. Let's just watch.
Just the tyre was getting hot, and you probably can see the bike just sort of snaking a little bit. And I don't know the name of this corner, but I went into this and I thought, well, I mustn't put the power on too early, and I didn't. If you look, the slide, to the best of my knowledge, happens virtually coming out of it. Watch. Now, look, she's gone. You should have... Well, that was exactly the same as happened in Assen. Then I was going to keep going, but I'd knocked the carburetor off with my knee.
But what do you think when that's happening? I mean, the thing's completely sideways, Barry. How do you stay on?
Well, all I think is just you've got to hang on to it. You know, that's all that goes through your mind. Hang on to the thing, you know. You mustn't let it go. Fight it.
Not thinking about all that metal work in your legs.
That's the last time. I haven't got any time to... I was totally occupied with trying to save it.
Stephanie, what about that? You hadn't seen that before?
No, I hadn't. No, I came straight in and watched the television, but I thought you'd do an action replay, but...
Well, let's get Barry to talk us through it again. It's unbelievable.
You just start to put the power on. The back end's breaking away now, so you steer away from it. And then the front went, and I thought, oh, boy, I've got to hang on to this one. And now I've got it under control, and I was just sort of fighting it and thinking, oh, well, not again.
But not to put too fine a point on it, your bottom's hanging completely off the bike.
Well, I know, you know, it was just with the sort of impact, it threw me up in the air, but all I can say, well, you're in God's hands, aren't you? And he looks after me.
But the thing is, Barry, apart from that, the bike is going well.
It is, but it's all very well to talk about it, but I didn't win, did I?
Well, let's go back to Fred Dineage in the studio. Lucky Barry Sheene.
Hello, Fred.
Hello, Barry. Well done to Barry Sheene. He's a remarkable man, isn't he? He comes so close, and yet he's still chirpy and he's still cheerful. And what a blessing that Barry Sheene...